Hello, my name is Jackson Kirchhoff, and today we will be making scalloped potatoes. The ingredients you will need when you're making scalloped potatoes are about 3 pounds of thinly sliced Yukon Gold potatoes, a diced onion, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1/4 a cup of flour, 1/4 a cup of butter, 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of chicken broth, a couple handfuls of shredded cheese, which you may or may not need depending on what you want, a teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So before you start cooking, you would want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Get a 9-inch by 13-inch baking pan. Well, not really a baking pan. Glass pan. They look like these. I'm not really sure what they're called, to be honest. And you would want to grease that up with some spray. I use canola spray. It doesn't really leave much of an aftertaste. You can use garlic spray, whatever. It really doesn't matter. So the first thing you would want to do is you would want to get your butter, onion, and garlic into your pan over here. And you would want to cook that at low to medium heat. Also, very important information, for the garlic, you would want to have that minced. Now, you would want to cook this for about 3 minutes and just stir it. Around now, you would want to grab a knife, fork, or spoon and check to see if the onions are getting soft. Mine are starting to, but not there yet. Alright, at this point you would want to add your flour. And cook that for about 1-2 minutes. Now, once you have the flour, everything will become a lot drier, so you have to make sure the onion does not get stuck in your whisk. For this step, I would recommend not using a whisk. Maybe use a spatula like this. But I don't want to get anything else dirty. Alright, at this point, you would want to reduce your heat even more and begin to add the milk and broth. You want to add a very small amount at a time and just continue whisking until smooth. These cups were not a good idea. These cups were not a good idea. Why you always want to have a roll of paper towels ready. Every time your sauce starts to get a little bit too thick, add the rest of your milk and chicken broth. Another thing is with the onion, before we started adding our liquids and when we just had the onion and flour, it will become extremely thick, and that is completely normal. So once that starts to happen, you want to wait just a little bit before you start adding in your liquids, because it'll start to burn. Now, some of the onions might be getting stuck on the sides, so just gotta push those back down in to make sure they keep cooking. Now, after you've added all your liquids, you would want to bring your heat up to about medium and wait for it to boil. I think I will cut this part of the video out. You want to continue whisking, so that way none of the onions burn. At this time, you would want to stir in your salt and pepper, as I already have, and continue to mix. Now you just wait for it to boil, and after it starts boiling, you will want to let it sit for 1 minute. After your sauce has started to boil, you would want to turn down the heat on your sauce so it doesn't burn, and then you will want to get your potatoes. Important thing that I've already stated, you would want to have your pan 9 inches by 13 inches and make sure it is greased, because otherwise it'll stay and be a mess. so what you would want to do is layer about 1/3 of your potatoes in. Move the camera so you can see that. Bowl. Yeah, now you're just gonna just put some potatoes in. Should I just turn that down? Alright. Another thing you'd want to do is just, even though it's done, it's still going to be really hot, so you want to keep stirring so it doesn't burn. That's a very important part. Now you just want to put some sauce on this. Ah, burnt myself. Yeah, also make sure to be careful when doing this because you can burn yourself and it hurts. So, clear these out a little bit. I did not do a good job of that. If any potatoes are stuck together, make sure they're not. Take them apart so they cook properly. Next, we're going to add more potatoes, the second third. I still need that to flatten out the potatoes and once again make sure none of them are still attached to each other. Very important. And I really don't know what to do with my hands. Now you will want to stir your sauce again because it's starting to burn, and take out all the onion pieces from inside and layer 2. Do it slower this time so you don't burn yourself. You should have a little bit of sauce left. Oh, that was kind of dumb. And now, layer the rest of your potatoes on. The ones that are stuck, just get them out. Beautiful. Now, you want to layer your actually no, you wouldn't want to do that yet. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Whoops. If they fall out, it's okay. Just put them back in because you know you sanitized your counters before you did this, right? You should always do that. And you should always wash your hands. I kind of thought that went without saying. Luckily, I already did all that. Just layer the last of that sauce on. Just like Grandma used to make. She never made this. She makes a potato. Make sure your stuff doesn't burn. It's fine. Sorry. Yeah, just spread it out. And since the onions are heavier, they would have been at the bottom. I should probably take that off the heat. Don't put your things back on the heat when there's nothing in it because everything will just burn. Actually, you're gonna put that in here. Put it in your sink. It's safer. Now, since the onions are heavier, obviously they'd be at the bottom of your pan. So that means the onions will end up being all nice and on the top of your potatoes. Now, this is the part where you start kind of actually cooking the stuff, like the potatoes. Yeah, just wipe off your excess onions on the side, or just get a knife. Probably smarter, safer. Now, what you'll want to do is cover up your potatoes with some tin foil or aluminum foil. I don't know why I said tin foil. It's aluminum. Make sure it's all nice and covered. Open up your preheated oven and put it in the middle rack. Smell of progress. Now what you would want to do is bake that for 45 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 45 minutes.
Sure, 45 minutes. Starting now.
Yeah. You want to sit here in 45 minutes? I don't. After baking for 45 minutes, take off the plastic wrap. Sorry, not the plastic wrap, the aluminum foil, and bake for another 35 minutes.